Right. There have been times throughout history when people who have really hated other people have dug up their bones and burned the bodies. In this case, you're talking about crushed the bones, all to try to prevent resurrection from happening to that person. And it shows you a very shallow view of resurrection and a very shallow view of God and his attributes, as if God is somehow going to be foiled from resurrecting somebody because something was done to their body. It's sort of a bizarre concept, but it does show you how far short we fall in our thinking. Several people actually have asked me about cremation and how I feel about cremation. And I think that the most important thing to understand about cremation is it poses no threat whatsoever to the doctrine of resurrection. And that's why I thought of it immediately when you asked your question, because it's really the same thing. Suppose somebody is burned in some great fire somewhere and there's nothing left of their body but ashes. Is that going to pose a problem to God in the resurrection? The answer is no. Suppose somebody died thousands and thousands of years ago and is indeed part of the ecosystem, scattered out all over the world, little parts of their body. Does that pose a problem to God? No, none at all. Now, with cremation, I do have an opinion on it. I won't say it's a super strong opinion, but my personal preference is for burial. And the reason for that is in ancient times, God's people buried, meaning placed bodies in tomb or in some cases in tombs or in some cases underground, but they did nothing to destroy the body, whereas the heathen cultures typically burned the bodies. Now that doesn't mean because heathen cultures did a thing, it's therefore automatically displeasing to God, nor does it mean that because God's people, the practice among God's people was to do the entombing or the burial, therefore that automatically means that we must do it. It's just that as I look at it, I'm just more comfortable doing what the righteous people did instead of what the heathens did, even though I can't give a specific ground for it. I think someone could argue, well, maybe it's because of respect for the body as a temple of the Holy Spirit, and therefore we will do nothing to destroy that body even after death, but we'll let the natural processes, have their way. Well, those natural processes are not great natural processes, but that could be a logic behind it. So that's just an opinion or a preference. I don't have a strong biblical basis.